What's up, everybody? Day two. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today, we're going to learn about building humility. And if you haven't seen my other videos already in this course, it is a 5 video over 5 day course. You can do it at your own pace. But I wanted day two to be about building humility because without humility, you cannot build your character. You've got to start with humility. So, what is humility? How do you build it? Please continue to watch this video and you'll find out. If you haven't already, as I launch this course, I always provide a free note taker for all my courses. And if you complete that note taker, you can get a free certificate of completion from my team to you for free to put on your personal resume, etc. All right, so let's begin. In this video, we're going to learn about what is humility. We're going to define it. We're going to reflect on your humility. I'm going to do a cool brainstorm exercise with you. And then we're going to understand how humility can lead to character. And you're going to ultimately, I'm going to give you some practical steps on developing your humility. And then finally, at the end of each video, I always like to give you reflection questions to consider on how you can build your humility. All right, cool. Let's begin. Let's define what humility is. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is freedom from pride or arrogance. So I know many of you are going to take notes on this, so I'm going to give you just a moment from there, but feel free to pause this video anytime to continue on your notes. But freedom from pride or arrogance. Wow, that's deep. When you take a look at what pride is, and when you take a look at what humility is, it's very opposite. It's very different. Pride, on one side, focuses on others' failures, versus humility realizes how far someone has fallen short and have an overwhelming sense for the need to grow. All right, so it's very, very, very different. For pride, people are normally self-righteous, they're overly critical and fault-finding, and they look at their life through a telescope while look at other people's lives through a microscope. So they examine everything on someone else's life, but in their own life, they may not do the same. On the flip hand, humility, if you have humility, you have compassion, you have the ability to forgive. You look for the best in others, and you seek to win people and not arguments. Okay, so hopefully that paints a picture. And as we go back here, that humility is freedom from pride or arrogance. Okay. When you take a look, I love these following pictures that I found online. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. Instead, it is thinking of yourself less, and it's thinking more of others. All right. That's what humility is. A lot of times, like when people think of humility, like they always think, oh, I need to reject every compliment. Not true. That's why this quote right here says it's not thinking less of yourself. I was really, really, really bad at this early on. People would say like they would give me a compliment and I'd be like, oh, no, 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 I'm not that good. Oh, no, 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 you don't need to say thank you. But in reality, I should have just said, hey, thank you so much for that compliment. Really appreciate it. But then ultimately, thinking more about them. Right. So that's a great quote there for you. Being humble means recognizing that we are not on earth to see how important we can become, but to see how much difference we can make in the lives of others. That is deep. Take a moment to take a look at that quote. All right. So as we reflect on humility, I want to do a cool exercise. I'm going to do it nice and quick with you. Feel free to pause it anytime you want to reflect on your humility. All right. So I got this from the website Greater Good in Action by Berkeley EDU. But I'm just going to read it out to you. Humility is about being able to see and accept your strengths and limitations without defensiveness or judgment, as well as being open-minded to others' perspectives and to new information. This practice can help teens bolster their humility in that second sense by orienting them toward others and helping them become more flexible and adaptable. Once again, the key thing that I highlighted here is got to be open-minded to other perspectives. That's what humility is. By taking this course, you've got to have humility or else you won't listen to anyone else trying to help you and improve your character, which I'm so grateful once again that you are watching this video and that you're interested in learning about humility. All right, so here's there's 3 questions on this reflection for you. So I want you to think right now. I want you to consider a time that you acted humbly towards someone by doing something that put their interests first and yours second. So when have you in your life been humble towards someone else? And I just want you to think, how did it make you feel during and after, right? Hopefully good, most likely good, but just take a moment. If you need to pause it, feel free to pause it after any one of these questions to just Take a minute to think. It's just a minute. Take a minute to think. Right? Number two, reflect on a time when someone else humbled themselves to you for your benefit. Got to be honest, this is a very deep question here because this is really what built my humility. When I finally realized that someone has been helping me, someone has been sacrificing for me, someone has forgiven me. Whenever you realize that, man, it just makes you want to love others more. It just makes you want to serve others more and to help others more, right? So think about this. How did it feel when someone put aside their opinion or agenda and followed you so that you could take the lead? What were your feelings when you recognized that someone humbled themselves before you? And why do you think this person gave you this gift of humility? All right, so number two, reflect on a time when someone else humbled themselves to you for your benefit. That's a great exercise, all right? And number three, consider an upcoming occasion when you can be the gift giver of humility to someone else. How do you plan to be open and adaptable to another person's opinions, needs, or wishes in a helpful way? Think back to a time when you fell short of being humble, and what can you do differently in the future to show humility? All right, so think about that. And hopefully this has helped you reflect more on how humility can play a role in your life. Now let's take a look at how humility can lead to character growth, right? So when I take a look at this, by being humble, by having humility, you're really admitting that you need to work on your character. And if you can't admit that you need to work on your character, you're not going to improve. Just like anything in life, if you don't see the need to improve, you're not going to improve. So you got to admit that you need to work on your character, just like I do every single day of my life. And number two, recognize that you're not always right. It's hard. That's a tough statement to read and to take in, but it's so true. When you take a look at humble people, like they will admit, first off, I've made mistakes. I'm not always right. And I'm sorry for it. By recognizing that you don't always have all the answers, that is very deep there as well. And by being open to growth and to change, all right? In which I truly believe if you're watching this video right now and you're still watching the video at this point in this video, man, you're open to growth, you're open to change. And I'm so grateful because for many of you, once again, you're in school and you are so young. And I'm telling you, it's going to impact every decision you make for the rest of your life. And you're going to look back at it and it's going to be such a good decision. Let me give you some practical steps on how you can develop your humility. So 6 quick steps. Number 1, spend time listening to others. The more you listen to others and the more you realize that people have value, and it really enables them to be heard. Don't try to solve their problems, just listen and just respond as a fellow human. All right. So spend time listening to others. Number 1, if you can do that, you're going to build your humility. Number 2, you got to accept yourself. You got to accept and appreciate yourself as you currently are, not who you want to be, but just appreciate you for who you are. Accept yourself. And when you do that, you're going to build your humility. You're going to also realize that everyone has faults, and you're going to speak positively about yourself. I know sometimes it's hard because we mess up and we don't like certain things about ourselves, but you've got to speak positively about yourself. Number 3, try to be truly grateful for what you have. I know it's hard, easier said than done, but man, you got to count your blessings so that your blessings count. Focus on what you do have versus what you don't have. And stop, I should say stop. Stop and smell the roses, all right? I know sometimes we are in a go, go, go society and that's what everyone tells us to do, go, go, go. But man, stop and smell the roses. Number 4. This one's a hard one for some people, especially for myself, but man, you got to learn to ask for help more. When you learn to ask for help more, man, you are developing your humility. Even if you don't need help, by asking someone to be involved or to give them the opportunity to help you, man, that is awesome. And it really fights our pride of solving our own problems, in which a lot of people tell us to do, solve your own problems. But in reality, man, work together as a team. Asking for help is not a weakness. If anything, it's a strength. And it allows other people to finally serve you. And when they serve you, there's a greater connection. And it just makes everyone's life more full. We are stronger when we are with our community. Number 5, learn to seek and accept feedback. This one's a big one, especially for the leaders out there. You got to ask your people from time to time that you respect and people in your community that supports you. So how can you improve? You're obviously going to hear their opinion, so be careful here. You ask for their opinion, you better listen to it, and it's going to hurt. Maybe it's going to be offensive to you, but you've got to understand the big picture. That they're trying to help you and that they're seeing things that you're not seeing. And this ultimately develops your humility. Listen to the feedback and don't fight back. When you ask for advice, when you ask for feedback, you're not accepting it fully when you question it. You're not accepting it fully when you explain yourself. Just ask for it. They're going to give it to you and say, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. And I appreciate you in my life. Number three, or the last part, is that you can improve quicker. Those who seek feedback and who accept the feedback, man, they're going to grow so much faster than anyone that doesn't. Right. And finally, number six, be honest and just check yourself. Review your feelings, your actions daily. And just ask yourself, am I becoming the person who I want to be in life? If you can do this, you are going to develop your humility so fast. I wish I knew this when I was in school. So I'm so grateful to teach it. Ask yourself, how can I improve my humility? All right. So I hope you can join us for day 3, because it all builds on one another. After you build your humility, you've got to understand, by being patient and present, that is how you build your character so much. All right. Here are some reflection questions to consider, as always, at the end of each video. In your own words, how would you define humility? Be honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how is your personal humility? And number 3, how will having more humility change your life, in your opinion? If you had to answer that question, what would you say? Take a moment, take a minute, pause the video, stop the video, maybe even write it down. And I'm telling you, this is the more you put into it and the more you're going to get out of it. So I'm so grateful that you watched this video. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.